Entrepreneur cannot retire. Only the death will take you to the retirement. I can tell you that. I always tell everybody, entrepreneurship is an ultra marathon. It is not a sprint. You can't win it in 10 seconds. You have to run for days to get to win the battle.
One red mug. Thousands of cafes. One collapse. Café Coffee Day wasn't just a coffee brand. For 2 decades, it was where India met. Students, first jobs, first dates, founders closing deals over cappuccinos. Then in 2019, its founder, V.G. Siddhartha, died.
Owner of India's largest coffee chain, Café Coffee Day. Mr. V.G. Siddhartha went missing on Monday this week.
A disappearance first happened late on Monday night, India time, and his driver was the last one who saw him.
Coffee King V.G. Siddhartha is now no more.
Leaving behind a company crushed under more than 7,000 crore in debt. Everyone assumed this was the end. It wasn't. What followed was one of India's quietest business survival stories. No headlines, no comeback tour, just years of brutal discipline. This is how Café Coffee Day built an empire on scale and nearly lost everything to it. Before Café Coffee Day, India did not really have a cafe culture. Coffee existed, but the cafe as a social space did not. To understand why CCD worked, we first need to understand what was missing. India had coffee. India had young people. But India had gaps. Coffee, a home drink, not a social one. No neutral hangout spaces. Students on steps, couples on the street. One of the youngest populations on Earth with nowhere to gather. India exported world-class coffee from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, but never built a culture around it at home. Post-1991 reforms opened the economy. Youth culture exploded. Indians saw cafes on TV, in films, on trips abroad. But at home, still nothing. The gap wasn't about money. It was cultural. And the man who filled it didn't come from marketing. He came from the plantations. V.G. Siddhartha was born into coffee. His family owned plantations in Chikmagaluru, Karnataka. He didn't start as a cafe owner. He started in finance, working as a stockbroker at JM Financial in Mumbai through the 1980s. That's where he learned capital markets, leverage, scale. In the early 90s, he returned and built something most plantation families never did: a vertically integrated coffee company. Amalgamated Bean Coffee Trading Company, ABCTCL. Sourcing, roasting, exporting, all under one roof. By the mid-90s, ABCTCL was one of India's largest coffee exporters.
93 to 95, I became the largest exporter in the country. Then realized in 95, exporting a commodity without a brand is rubbish. So that's how we started concentrating on branding.
Here's the part that mattered most. He owned the beans, the single most expensive input in the business. No middlemen, no price swing risk. That gave him something no cafe brand in India had, a cost advantage nobody could match. So in 1996, he ran an experiment. A small, affordable cafe on Brigade Road, Bengaluru. People didn't come only for the coffee. They came for the space. Siddhartha hadn't discovered demand for a drink. He'd discovered demand for a place to belong. Siddhartha's strategy from day one: control costs, expand fast, stay accessible. By the early 2000s, CCD was everywhere. College roads, IT corridors, malls, highways, Tier 2 cities. For millions of Indians, it was their first cafe. CCD wasn't selling caffeine, it was selling access. And it backed that up with vending machines in offices and factories, generating steady cash on the side. On paper, the model looked strong. Plantations supplied beans, roasting units processed them, cafes and vending machines sold them, and exports added extra revenue.
And we are proud to say that we are the largest
Indian food company today. Not only cafe, food company. Nobody has got our kind of footprint. We've got 900 stores and 900 kiosks and 13,000 vending machines in 2,700 corporates of India. So totally we touch almost 1 million customers a day.
By the mid-2000s, CCD was India's largest cafe chain. But here's the catch. International brands entering India played a different game. Fewer stores, higher margins. CCD went the opposite way. More stores, thinner margins. Many outlets were never profitable. They stayed open anyway, just to hold territory. Siddhartha was betting that scale would eventually fix the math. It didn't. To keep expanding, CCD needed cash. A lot of it. Instead of slowing down, the group diversified hard. Real estate, logistics, financial services, tech parks. Big, capital-heavy bets that had nothing to do with coffee. All of it was funded on debt. And slowly, profitable coffee operations started subsidizing the businesses that weren't working. From the outside, strong brand, more stores, still growing. Inside, a balance sheet quietly buckling. By 2017, lenders were nervous. Regulators started digging into the group's structure. By 2019, group debt had crossed 7,000 crore. By 2017, the pressure was compounding. Tax authorities were scrutinizing group transactions. Lenders were done being patient. CCD was entirely founder-led. There was no distance between Siddhartha and the business. Every problem was his problem. Behind the scenes, he was quietly negotiating asset sales, trying to buy time. On July 29, 2019, V.G. Siddhartha went missing.
Owner of India's largest coffee chain, Café Coffee Day, Mr. V.G. Siddhartha went missing on Monday this week.
A disappearance first happened late on Monday night, India time, and his driver was the last one who saw him.
Coffee King V.G. Siddhartha is now no more. The body of the owner and founder of Café Coffee Day
was found around 6:30 a.m. in the Netravati River in Dakshina Kannada district of Karnataka after 36 hours of intense search.
His body was found in the Netravati River near Bengaluru. In a letter to the board, he wrote that he was under tremendous pressure from lenders, from tax authorities, and apologized for not being able to deliver despite his efforts. The market reacted instantly. Stock fell. Lenders tightened further. Employees didn't know if they still had a company. This was no longer a growth story. It was a survival test for a business that had never operated without its founder. Most expected collapse. Leadership passed to Malavika Hegde, Siddhartha's wife, a board member with no grand comeback plan. Just one priority: stabilize. Global Village Tech Park was sold to Blackstone for 2,700 crore. Siddhartha's Mindtree stake was sold to L&T for roughly 3,210 crore. That cash went straight to the debt. Loss-making cafes shut down. The metric shifted from number of stores to profit per store. Cross-subsidizing between businesses stopped. CCD leaned back into what it actually did well: coffee. Exports grew. Retail moved to smaller, leaner formats. By 2023, debt that once stood over 7,000 crore had come down to roughly 465 crore. One of the sharpest corporate deleveraging stories in recent Indian business history. No headlines, no hype cycle. Just years of saying no to growth in order to survive it.